Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Extinct Bricks Originals! And for this third special episode, we'll be featuring the LYKA custom Jurassic World Dominion Carnotaurus. This is in collaboration with Ibiso Universe, so check out his channel as well. Here are the winners of the Guesses PC contest. And starting off with the lucky picks: Rhino, Onikaiju, Bastian, Diana, Christopher, Asoforvis, Kaser, Curiosidatis, William, Rainbow Racer. Congratulations to everyone! Now for our top 10 winners: Frick,
Top 10.
Jared
Top
Joshua 09,
9.
Fred
Top
Bear the
8.
Bear, Mimic
Top
Production,
7.
Godzilla
Top 6.
Super,
Top
Cut.
5.
Eden
Top
Stevenson,
4.
Dinosaurus and Therizinosaurus,
Top
Dinosaur
2.
Sun Channel. And before we announce number 1, please like, share, and subscribe and hit the notification bell.
Top 1.
Ana Paula Salsa Santos. Congratulations everyone, and I'll see you in the next Guesses PC contest. For those of you who would like to join, here's how. Just click on the Extinct Bricks icon and it will lead you to the Extinct Bricks homepage. And in the homepage, just click on the community link and it will lead you to all our posts. And now let's move along with the making of our Jurassic World Dominion Carnotaurus. So here is a simple, modification of the Carnotaurus. We have several parts from different figures, arms from the Stygimoloch. I adjusted that a bit, shortened the tail. I also widened the body, made the head, of course, very similar to that of the Carnotaurus. Now we will be using non-sag epoxy by Pioneer, equal parts A and B. We mix them together and then we're going to sculpt on the figure. And here is how it looks like so far. I will be still adjusting on some parts on this, but overall this is how it looks. So the other horn is actually cut off, and then the body here is already modified and much more larger or much bulkier than it was already. Now I added in several more details, including that flap on the neck and also the scutes on the back. Also, Usher is watching. And here is it. Our Carnotaurus will be using some paint brushes, of course, acrylics, and a dryer, and of course some water. And we mix here some parts of black as well as some white and a little bit of yellow ochre, and we're painting it on the wall. Technically the entire part of the figure, except of course the lower parts, because that is actually a lighter gray to it. Now using some white, we added that to the existing colors that we have, and we're going to lightly dry brush on some areas over here. So dry brushing technique actually is that technique wherein you can somehow create different gradients on a figure without having so many colors at your mixing palette. Now the way I use it, or the way I actually do it, is I paint it on and then scrub it off a little at the edges so that it looks somehow intentional. Now using the same gray, we're going to create the those patterns of scales on the feet of the Carnosaurus, much like how I do, or I actually paint most of my theropod dinosaurs. So I'm being very careful, and I'm using a small tip brush for this one. Now using the same gray that we have earlier on, which is wherein we just added a little bit more white to it, we're adding several details on the lower sections of the Carnotaurus. As you can see here, I'm carefully trying to map in a bit of those details also on the underside of the Carnotaurus. So technically there are actually 3 or 4 shades of grays on the figure in itself already, including the last one that we will be using, which is the most light color of gray that we can find. So as I mentioned earlier on, this is not actually white, this is very light gray, and we're painting on the lower sections of the Carnotaurus. I added in some more yellows to this, so I added yellow ochre to the gray color so that it's not very, monotone after it is actually completed. So aside from painting it on the lower sections of the Carnotaurus, we're going to also include the sections of the lower jaw. And then we're just going to build on a lighter or a darker shade of gray to it. So this is how it looks like so far. I've already printed out some... Hi Usher! Hello! It's always on my feet every time I'm actually working on things. So here I mapped out the stripes and patterns on the back using a lighter shade of gray on the... Oh, thanks Mike for the food. Lighter shade of gray on the supposed, markings on the back of the Carnotaurus, and then I'm now overlaying the red orange colors in it, and then later on I'll be pre-imposing an orange colors on it so that it looks very fiery. So these patterns will actually go on from the head and then going towards the tail of the Carnotaurus. Some parts of the thighs of the Carnotaurus will also be involved in this one. So you can see here how I'm actually doing it. So I have a palette of orange already prepared. So once I make some decisions on whether or where to put them, I'm actually painting them on the figure in itself, while the darker red orange colors are still wet, so that somehow it will blend in beautifully with the oranges. Alright, so let's now move on with the sand bricks. Alright, so let's count down the number of parts of this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 parts. Let's now begin by connecting the head with the lower jaw, as usual. There you go. Let's connect this to the body. Let's connect the arms. The other one. The legs. The other. And then the tail. And that completes the figure. And now for a little bit of Extinct Dino trivia. Carnotaurus name means meat-eating bull. They lived during the late Cretaceous period around 71 to 69 million years ago, and its remains were found actually in Argentina. And now for a closer look. And here is our completed Carnotaurus. It's a demon Carnotaurus, and it's one of the variants that we have for Jurassic World. And after watching the movie Jurassic World Dominion, I'm really quite not sure whether or that's a demon Carnotaurus or that is Toro, but nonetheless we made this one because it's one of the variants that I'm most excited to do. Alright, so Usher, Evie here is quite excited as well, because what we did here with the Carnotaurus would be one of those bases that we'll be doing moving forwards when it comes to doing our large Velosaurids. Okay, so EB will be coming back later for some size comparison. So let's just move along with our closer look on the Carnotaurus. Okay, so this Carnotaurus is based off from this particular photo over here, which actually you can see here the main I guess similarities between that particular photo and this one, because it has this specific coloration to it, which is actually different tones of grays, dark grays to much lighter grays on the facial areas here, and going towards the more lighter gray on the underbelly. And then of course the more prominent features here would be those fiery red markings on the head going towards the tails. It seems like it's like lava on a dark gray rock, right? Also, it has this whitish paddings on the underpads of the feet, as well as some left also markings on the ankle region as well. It also has short hands, and it has several markings of scars on the head. Probably it was created or done when it actually broke its horn. Alright, so well, among the other details, of course, would be that the broken horn, and the other one is much longer there. If you are going to take a closer look on the painting details on the head as well, there is some darker areas here for smaller scales, also on the head section here. Alright, and then of course there are scutes all over the back, of course, because this is a Carnotaurus. It has a 2x3 what do you call this, studs on the back. It says LYKA over here. I use those. And then of course what else do we have here? And it has a long tail over here. Now for the articulation, you can actually move its head like so, twist it around, open and close its mouth, of course. The insides of the mouth are colored as well. The arms can move like this, and then of course the legs can move, both of them, and then of course you can also twist the tail. There you go. And that's it for the closer look on our Carnotaurus. And now moving along with size comparisons. And EB is back here for some size comparisons, of course, and you know, taking a look at the size between this minifigure and of course this Carnotaurus, you can see that it's actually accurate to the Jurassic World Dominion size for a Carnotaurus. Actually, the Carnotaurus in Jurassic World Dominion is much larger, but I guess this is okay. So comparing it to that particular size. Okay, so let's now move along with other comparisons with other Carnotauruses that we've had so far. So first up, the last one that we did is actually a smaller Carnotaurus based off from the actual Jurassic Park novel, which is this Carnotaurus. So this Carnotaurus is a what we call the chameleon Carnotaurus, and it can actually disappear or, you know, blend in with its surroundings, especially when it is in a what do you call this, a forest-like environment. So here's another comparison between a human minifigure, oops, sorry about that, a human minifigure and these two Carnotauruses over there. So I think in terms of size and of course how a real Carnotaurus would actually size up, I think this is more accurate. But of course we're doing a film movie or a film Carnotaurus, so this is actually the correct size for this one. Alright, so another Carnotaurus that we have in comparison would be the Carnotaurus that I made for what do you call this, Dinosaur the movie. So this particular chunky Carnotaurus, it actually lost its finger or toe over there, but yeah, so this is much robust and much larger, in my opinion, compared to this one. However, I think in terms of proportion and health, this is much fit, and this is a little bit more on the heavier side. Although I do like chunky, of course. Roll, 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 roll. Alright, so moving along with our Carnotauruses, the Carnotaurus that I made years back would be this one. Right, I think I still kept it because, for this is actually one of those, or the very first, or I think this is the second, I think, medium-sized theropod that I've done before, and I want to take a look, of course, at the level of evolution that I made so far with my customs, and this is how I reminisce in terms of how I am actually doing, and also been progressing in my customs. So although this is very the posture is not correct, there is a cut over there on the side of the neck over here. The way I actually painted this one is quite, it's not as detailed as how I actually paint my Carnotauruses at the moment. So yeah, so I like taking a look at them and still play with them once in a while. And of course, let's compare with how LEGO actually does its Carnotaur. So here is the Carnotaurus from LEGO over here. So pardon me, it's a bit dusty, but this is the Carnotaurus from LEGO. I think the head shape of the Carnotaurus of LEGO is actually accurate to the fossil findings. However, it doesn't really translate to the movie Carnotaurus, and probably that's one of the reasons that I am actually also doing, Carnotauruses or medium-sized theropods, because they haven't really done those yet. Yeah, in my opinion. So yeah, so this is the Carnotaurus from LEGO. In my opinion, it's much larger than it should really is, but hey, what do we got? This is LEGO, right? Okay, so let's now compare with a few of the Velosaurids that I've done so far. This is the smaller one that I've got, the Rugops. It could have been smaller in my opinion, but yeah, so this is the Rugops. I like the overall look to it, the colors on the Rugops with those pink little crests over here on top of its head, and then the mix of violets and those lighter tones of flesh on the body is quite refreshing, to be honest, with a dark head. So that's the Rugops for you guys. It's much smaller and it has this tree stud on its back. Alright, so let's now compare this one with a similar size Velosaurid. This is the Rajasaurus. So I like the Rajasaurus, to be honest, the way it actually is painted. However, in my opinion, I guess what I'm not really satisfied with this one is that the tail is too high, the tail is too straight, the angle of the neck is quite it's forward facing, so it's more of a charging, like always on a charging like manner. So unlike this one, which can be on a neutral pose. Yeah, so that's the Velosaurid Rajasaurus for you guys. Now I also would like to compare with one of my horned medium-sized theropods. This is the Ceratosaurus. I don't know, guys, if you have seen my Ceratosaurus video. I think it needs a little love from you guys, so please check it out. I like the way it's been painted, although it's been, I made this a year or so. I think the way I painted this one was quite those years that I'm starting to really hone into the more detailed type of painting, similar to how I paint nowadays. So I like the transition between those periods and how I paint my figures at the moment. But talking about advanced painting, I think this particular Ceratosaurus from Toy Universe really does talk to me in terms of how colors are being mixed and how not to be afraid of colors. You can see here that the head in particular has many many styles of painting to it, including dry brushing as well as detailing of scales from those little dots of black to so I think the Ceratosaurus actually is a really good creation by Toy Universe, so please check this one out. You won't regret it. It's quite a good video, to be honest, and this is one of my favorite videos from Mike of Toy Universe. Alright, and that's it for the size comparisons on our Carnotaurus from Jurassic World Dominion. Now we'll move on to Extinct Breed Species Roll Call, and we have here all the creatures that I've shown you earlier on in the video. And if you do have other requests or suggestions, please comment them down below. That could be, Jurassic World Dominion creatures or species, or you could also, suggest other prehistoric creatures or even movie monsters for that matter. Alright, also, EB here would like to remind you guys that all that you see here is actually available in our Extinct Breeds playlist over here, but I will be placing here individual links of all the creatures that you see here, except of course our Lego Carnotaurus over there, so that you won't have to go through all 200 and plus videos that I have uploaded so far on the channel already. Okay, so let's now start the Extinct Breed Species Roll Call. So let's start from this side, shall we? So this is the Extinct Breeds Jurassic World Carnotaurus, my first version of course. This is the Toy Universe Jurassic World, the game, level 40 Ceratosaurus. This is our Extinct Breeds Jurassic World or Jurassic Park Ceratosaurus. This is the Extinct Breeds Rugops. This is the Extinct Breeds Jurassic World Alive Brachiosaurus. Extinct Breeds Jurassic Park Novel Carnotaurus. This is the Extinct Breeds Disney Carnotaurus. And of course that is a Lego Carnotaurus. And of course to start the show here, this is our Extinct Breeds Jurassic World Dominion Carnotaurus, a Demon Carnotaurus for that matter. And that's it for the video guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. I will be placing in additional video clips of the Carnotaurus until the end of the video, so please do not skip and finish the video. Thanks everyone. Oh no, the Carnotaurus is loose and is actually feeding on all our goats. Aww, we have to catch it. EB, help us. And that's it for the video now. I hope you guys enjoyed this one as much as I did and enjoyed doing the Carnotaurus. For all your views, like and your shares, maraming salamat, and also please do not forget to support our other channels, Toy Universe and The Adventures of Moira and Asher. Please watch their videos and support our channel by subscribing. And as we always would say, let your inner dino brick roar! Thanks everyone and bye!